Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Vampire The Masquerade Rivals expandable card game unboxing of sorts. And I always say it like that because what this is we are going to go through the official deck box, which is not a lot of stuff in there because it's basically just the box and the dividers. But we'll take a look at that towards the end of the video, the second half. But we will go over what's in there so you can kind of see what there is. The first half of the video I want to do is go over all the current promo cards I have. It's not every promo card out there. There was some stuff that were possibly Kickstarter exclusive from the original game. There's tournament promos and some that haven't quite come out or I haven't gotten yet because they were part of organized play kits, so you get them from playing tournaments, which are available on the website, but it mentions about retailers having to be able to buy them, so I'm not sure if they're technically available for a regular customer. As of this video, I have yet to get a response on that. So I was trying to find out so I could buy some because they come with acrylic tokens as well, which would be really fun to have. So there are essentially two types of promos. So the first type is we have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minor expansions. The only expansion I do not have right now is the Hunter and Hunted new core box set. But what happens, what Renegade Studios loves to do is when you pre-order one of their new games, and they do this for all their different games, Power Rangers, G.I. Joes, Transformers, so on and so forth, they usually give you a set of promo cards. And what this has been for this set so far has been two vampires, which are just alternate art cards. So I'm going to go through them first. We're just going to show them off. I'm not going to sit there and say which box set they went with, because at this point you can just go purchase them separately. So they're not linked to it. But in the future, if you like having alternate art versions of your cards, if you pre-order them from the website, you will get those alternate cards. But again, as of right now, they've only been alternate art. They do sell other promos in there as well. The other things we'll go over are some other different promo packs and promo cards you can get in various ways. But we're going to jump in and look at the alt art cards first. So we're going to start. So on the left side here will be the original version, as denoted by the regular set symbol on the bottom. Kind of zooming on these a bit. And then on the right side, we will have the updated, or the alt art version. I backed them up a bit. So all the stats, all the effects and citizen. The only reason any of the wordage would change is if they've updated like a phrase, like if they've got rid of when they changed like how tempor works and stuff like that. Or if they got rid of like the reminder text for guard. Otherwise, it should be the exact same cards. They should generally be the same because they came out at the same time. But all the promo cards will have the little vampire teeth down here with a number in showing what promo number it is. Now, what is interesting just to note on this is if you go through and you start looking and collecting all of them, they have them numbered up to, I think, like 32 or 36 right now. But we do not have every single numbered card. They're going to add some to fill in them other gaps, like a little bit later as they go. The other thing to mention is, so each set has like basically the high vampire from each of the boxes. With the Heart of Europe, it has two alternate arts for 2 of the 10 different clans in there. There are currently no alt art for the core set stuff. Which I think would be cool if they did that, just release a pack with 4 artwork for them, just so that they feel the same as the rest of them. But here we have General Flink, Nosferatu Vampire. I like how they kind of show like this sort of change, like he's kind of hiding, and he pops out. I'm not going to reread all these abilities, because this is just mainly about the artwork. But there we have Tomaska from the Gangrel. So it's just kind of like, kind of just chilling there, and then they turn and they're all vicious. I love these. I love the way they did these artworks on these. So from La Sombra, we have Marcus Cumia. Yeah, it's just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden he like poses, and now he has like some vampire eyes back. You see the artwork, and is a little bit off shaded and stuff. That happens, unfortunately. Here we have Annika. This is a very big twist. So she's all covered in white, and you're like, ooh, she's kind of mysterious. And then instead, now she has more like a Day of the Dead kind of outdoor vibey to her, which is really interesting. Alright, then for Celebrate, we have Shiara. It's just kind of neat where she's like looking in her door, like crawling, going into her door. Cover, she comes out, she's almost, naked, showing off everything, like she's pissed. So that's kind of a neat idea. Here we have from Banu Hankwim, we have Alaraz Tahir. Yes, this might even actually be like a before and after instead of the reverse direction. Right, he just got done eating that guy, now he's running his bloody hand over that. He ate an ambassador, apparently. This is a unique one, too. We have Angela from Chemises. So there she's kind of like, she had this head, she did, and then now she's like, oh, now she's eating a skull. Interesting. Stefan Tradak from Aravanos. Yeah, it's just kind of neat. Where Zach also, he's powering up. Very cool artwork. Sonia Valentine from Tremory. So there she was reading from a blood Bible, and then she's outside casting a blood ritual. So maybe two different ways she does the rituals. Kind of neat. We have Jacob Frost from the Thin Blood. There he's just kind of like, I'm just macho posing. I think I was putting this guy, presumably the guy behind him, in a headlock. We have Emil Herza from Corridor. So there he is sitting there. And next just shows him eating some people. They're biting on him. And then the final one is Sebastian from La Sombra. Who, that's kind of neat. So he has a sniper in the back. Kind of maybe protect him. And there he is out on the balcony. Very interesting. So those are just all art cards. Again, if you don't want them, don't buy them. They're just, promos are about a couple bucks. I think I want to say about $5 a piece for 2 cards that are all artwork. So if you don't care about all artwork, don't pick them up. They're not gonna give you any extra gameplay. You can't use extra versions of them. Alright, so then we can get rid of one of these because we're gonna jump into just the solo. So first of all, we have cards that are listed as Season 1. So a bunch of these were on their web store. They're listed as Season 1 promos. They are a collection of cards that you can get either from the organized play kit, which is kind of a neat idea. You go to stores, you play games there, you can get these extra bonus cards for playing. Or what you can do is if you wait long enough, it seems like they're going to release the content together. Renegade Studios seems to be really good about this. They don't like to generally lock content where nobody can get access to it. Even I think Smoke here might have been like a card I think was originally part of the Kickstarter, but they don't, again, make these Kickstarter exclusives. He's a bonus if you got the base game during Kickstarter, but now they're making him available. Yes, he's not free like he was in the Kickstarter. You have to pay for him. Same thing with the OP. If you go play at the event, other than paying for the event, you can win cards for free. But it's a neat way so you can at least get it. So nobody's locked behind. I have absolutely no way of getting access to these cards because I didn't back this or I didn't participate in this. So this is a really neat thing they did. So we have Smoke from the Bruja Vampires. So this is actually going to be some of the ones that are going to work towards giving you extra cards for the first 4 core sets. So he says, we're actually reading through these because these are brand new. At the end of your turn, ready 1, carry your coterie. So that's definitely not a bad one to start with. We have Freddy Usher from Tortador, who has, when this character plays a reaction, draw 1 card. Nice. Martin Diaz from Venture. Exhaust, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card. We have another one from there. We have Victor Temple, who's a little bit higher cost. He's also listed as LA by Nights. This is like special promo organization, so he was issued during that versus one of the other organized play or Kickstarter things. But he's part of the Season 1 pack as a collection. This character has +1 influence, pay 1 blood to put a no influence token on a character. And sometimes I'm not positive, but I want to say these are based off of something like this is based off an actual player that maybe won an event. And then we have Natasha Blank, the last of the Season 1 pros. Now, if you go on their website, there are a couple more Season 1 point, I think 4, 5, and 6, which have more vampires and more things. Those ones might eventually be available again in a bigger pack. They just haven't released them yet. They're probably waiting until after a certain set period of time. So she's Mavelkian. Attacker, she pay 1 prestige. This attack deals 1 damage to the target. At the end of this attack, you may move this character to your haven. Nice, so a little hit and run there. Awesome. So then we have Season 2 promo cards. So these are just some extra promo cards they made. They're just lumping in Season 2. So we have Xander Kloss for Gangrel, who has Attacker. This attack deals +2 to the damage characters with a title. For Nosferatu, we get the Exterminator. Attacker, pay 1 blood to burn 1 animal or retainer attached to the target. So it's kind of neat if you look at the fact of in the sets they came out with, they fought against Gangrel. So you definitely see they're going to be like, I want to get rid of their help. For La Sombra, we have Timothy Schwartz, who has pay 1 agenda, gain 2 prestige or 5 influence. It's kind of neat. I like using agenda as a currency. It's kind of a neat idea. Because it's your win condition, so you have to be pretty good to be able to do it. Plus, La Sombra likes to put their agenda on other characters, so maybe they could spend it not having to worry as much. For Hikata, we have Fujinko. Your ongoing cards cannot be targeted by foes. That is nasty. That's definitely crazy. Then we also did get some new agendas. Some more agendas are always fun. Balance in all things. At the end of your turn, if you control 2 characters with exactly 2 attachments, gain 1 agenda. If you control 3 characters with exactly 2 attachments, gain 2 instead. Interesting. So you want to make sure you only have 2 at a time. But yeah, it's not exactly 2 with exactly 2. You could have 4 characters out, but if you have 2 characters, each with only 2, you gain that bonus. So that's kind of an interesting idea. Then we have Race to the Bottom. When you place a -1 blood potency token on +1 character at foe's quarter, gain 1 agenda. Yes, there's a couple different clans that like to do this. This can be a neat extra way to win. Not even worrying about taking anybody out or just weakening guys left and right. Then we have some brand new havens. We have the Youth Hostel. Leader ability. When a character in your coterie is attacked, they have +1 defense for each character in their attacking part with higher blood potency than theirs. Ooh. So basically, yeah, if you're weaker characters, you're going to get... This might work really good for Thin Bloods, because they typically have less. We have the Dancing House. Discard 1 card. Move a non-title attachment from a card you control to another card you control. Does not trigger attack effects. Yeah, being able to move some of your stuff around can be very helpful. This might even work with that last agenda where you have to have 2, because if you get a bunch on one guy, you can move them around a bit. And then finally we have the Prague National Bank, which works kind of well with the Heart of Europe set, but it can be used anywhere. You start the game with 25 prestige. If this card leaves play, lose 3. Interesting. So you don't get an active ability or a leader ability or secrecy or any of that other stuff, but you get to start with 5 extra prestige. But what could be very bad is somehow someone can get rid of this, you lose 3, and this could end up hurting later in the game. But that's definitely a neat idea. Alright, so then our next promo is we have just a single card that you can buy by itself. Another LA by Nights card. This is Annabella from the Bruja Vampires. This is again one of these cards they just released as a single promo. Someone probably won a tournament. And they just didn't want to wait until a pack came out for it. But always, hey, more promos are always nice. Party. Characters in this party deal +1 superficial damage to the opposing characters during an attack for each influence you exert during the attack. Okay, cool. So you can do 1 extra damage for each influence you exert. So you can do a lot of extra damage, but since you're superficial, it won't defeat them. That's actually pretty neat. Alright, then the next ones we have another little mini pack here. This is from the Month of Darkness from 2002. So this is like an event they did, and they had some promo cards that came off of it. It's listed out, noted by the Nightlife. Oh, I have cards up to 50 in here, actually. I thought we were at like 30-something. But for Venture, we have Carmina Magnus. When a foe attacks a character in a haven, or with a haven attached to them, you may have the defending player gain 1 prestige of their color from the general supply. When a foe attacks a character with a haven, in a haven, or with a haven attached. Interesting. Oh, so yeah, if you give you're in your haven hiding out, or if you attach a haven to your character, to Venture, a couple cards have the ability to do that. Every time they attack you, you can gain an extra prestige. That's pretty neat. Reina de la Vega from the Tremory. At the start of your turn, leave the top card of your library or faction deck. Leave it or move it to the bottom of the deck. Scrying on your deck is always a very helpful thing to do. Lets you find out what you really need. Plus, you're not discarding, which is very cool. From Toreador, we have Louvière Bekele. When you remove a prestige from your color from an event, put it in your personal supply. Ooh, so there you're not having to waste them. That's pretty cool. From La Sombra, we have Giselle della Scala. Attacker. When this character defeats a character in the streets, move all prestige, all agenda on this character to your agenda card. Okay, cool. So, like, yeah, lots of the La Sombra like to put agenda on them. So this would give you a nice way to be able to move all that to your agenda really quick to count towards your victory. Then the last one we have is RT Thassos for Gangrel. The first time you attach an animal to this card during each of your turns, target player discards 1 card. Nice. Alright, so those are a bunch of different promo packs you can buy. Again, they're available on their website. Some of them might, like that Annabelle is by itself right now. In the future, it might be available as a bigger pack. It's hard to say. I can't speak to what they're going to do in the future. I also can't ever guarantee or promise these cards will be around forever. So if you're interested in them, I'd probably pick them up maybe sooner than later, but maybe try and buy a bunch at once or with a set just to save on shipping. Alright, so we do have some more packs though. We have the next one is from the Conclave Event 22. So this is again another event that went out. What this did was just added new event cards for the Prague City deck, which is what the back of this is. Now, interesting that they did this for the Prague deck, but not for the San Francisco, which is the core deck. They did it for the expansion. But I like this as an idea because even talking about, when I've talked about the city decks before, I thought it'd be neat if there's ways you can either have 2 cities in play, so you can access more cards, or you can mix and match them, or randomize them so you can have stuff. This is just a neat way to be able to take a city deck and at least change it up a little bit. And they can even do the other half, like, at some point, like, hey, like, here's, an additional set of like citizens. You know, like here's other citizens from there too. So you could have like Prague with 2 sets of events, 2 sets of citizens. You could kind of mix and match them between the two. So that could be very interesting thing to do, or make more Second Inquisition cards to be swapped in and out. But yeah, so basically you do is you take this deck, you swap it out with all the events from the Prague, and it's just like a different look at what's going on in Prague, which is kind of cool. So we have Offer of Help event. Each player must put 1 blood or prestige from their general supply onto a card they control. Opening Ceremonies ongoing event. Exhaust up to 3 characters in your coterie. For each you do, gain 1 prestige. Call the Roll. Ongoing. Characters in the streets have +1 influence. Show of Force. Place no player token on this when revealed. Ongoing. The next time an antagonist is defeated, burn them, then burn this card. Interesting. So you basically just did a straight up get rid of an antagonist, which should be very helpful. Especially Prague, because they have that Team X operatives, which stack. So if you get rid of one, then you're never going to have to worry about the 4th effect. Enter Asylum, or Elysium, sorry. All characters have +1 secrecy. Purge the Old Guard event. Put 1 agenda on the characters with the highest blood points among the coteries. Interesting. Citywide lockdown. Move all characters to their havens. Ongoing. Your characters cannot move to the streets during your turn except by exerting X influence. Move X characters to your coterie to the streets. Influence can only come from characters. Oh, so this could make it interesting. You clean out the streets, and then now someone can decide, hey, I need to get in there to defeat these mortals, or do this, do that thing, so they can pay to do it. Very, very interesting. Crack Shot. Ongoing. Vagrants cannot prevent antagonist damage. Nice. You can't use them as bodyguards. The New Blood. Ongoing. The first time you recruit a character during your turn, gain 2 prestige. And then finally, we have 2 Absent Friends. Ongoing, each character in your coterie has +1 blood. Put that blood on target character in Topor. So basically, each person can pay 1 to try and heal someone to get them back quicker. Nice. I like how the event cards in these games aren't always just bad. They're not always necessarily hurting you. They're not always going to be necessarily helpful to you either. Might depend on what your deck is or what your character's doing. But they're not just always like a threat. Like sometimes they could be very beneficial. Alright, then we have an actual full promo pack, I would say, because it comes wrapped with Royalty Pack number 1. So basically what this is it's a big giant set of promo cards again. But these are all based off of people that have won various tournaments over the course of the years. So this is kind of a fun idea. Like, if you won a tournament, basically you could get a card made after you. Now, I don't know what the steps of these are, because they're the royalty for winning their rivals' tournaments. But I don't know, like, if they just insert their name and get their picture, if they have any say on what clan they're getting. Maybe whoever clan they won with, they have to pick from that. Maybe they can choose whatever. Maybe they get some say in the abilities. I am not for sure on that. But we're going to go ahead and go through these. Now, these don't have numbers on them, so they work kind of like a regular set versus like one of the actual promos that had, like, you know, the numbered cards on them. So you have Abraham from the Thing Blood Vampires. When you attach an alchemy to a character in your coterie, they mend 1. When this character is defeated, return all alchemy attached to them to your hand. Now, what makes this guy crazy is the fact that he costs 4. Because all other Thing Bloods are 3 or less. So he's actually very powerful for that. But if he's defeated, you have to return all alchemy. If you defeat him, you get all your alchemy back too. So he's actually really good. For Mavelkian, we have Annesley Caleb. Says that his 7, so we don't get too many 7s up there. For the first time this character exhausts during each your turn, any player may pay 1 agenda. If they do, ready this character. Action. Each player discards 2 random library cards, then they may draw 2. So that's interesting. If she exhausts, someone may basically pay her to unexhaust so they can't attack with her or use her. That's pretty interesting. We have, for Gangrel, we have Alyssa Nicole, another 7. Party. Characters in this party may initiate an attack while exhausted characters are in this party. Exhaust a character in this party, ready another character in this party. That's cool. So like you can exhaust, and normally to start a new attack, you'd have to move all your non-ready ones. Here you can undo it, and then you can still attack with them because you can unexhaust the one you just attacked with. We have another Thin Blood. We have Andy Similoni, who has 2. He has Guard, though. When this character blocks an attack, pay X prestige. Turn X target characters from the attacking and/or defending party to their havens. The attack continues. Oh, neat. So if he blocks, you can then get rid of a couple other cards out of there. That's neat. For Ravenos, we have Chris Bagaran. I'm apologize to all these people if I butcher your names. +2 influence for each non-active haven you control. If a scheme you play fails, put a fear token on target character with no influence on them. Interesting. So if you scheme and you fail, at least you get to hurt someone for it. Cool. We have another Mavelkian. We have David Garcia. The first time you place a face-down card outside of an attack each turn, add 1 prestige from your general supply, up to 2 other face-down cards you control. Oh, neat. So when you play 1, you can boost up the other ones at the same time. That's neat. So we have one for, if you've been watching all my videos up to this point, we have not yet seen this Vampire Clan, which is a ministry, because these are part of the Hunter and Hunted set. We have Doug St. John. So they get like this eyeball. He has Guard. Remove 1 token from up to 2 face-down cards you control. This character has +1 defense during this attack for each token removed this way. Neat. So you can gain defense by sacrificing your secrets. Drac from Banhu Hakwim. How about giving all these 7-cost characters? It's really cool. He has a Diabolist ability, attack, remove 1 blood of your color from up to 3 foes characters. This attack does 1 damage for each blood removed this way. Nice. So basically you can hit some other guys from beyond. For Tremory, we have Email Renee with some electricity. Pay 1 blood to steal 1 from target character and put it on an ongoing card you control. So you can steal blood to put on his blood rituals. Very cool. Alright, up next we have James Chung, a Bruja Vampire. Attacker, you may immediately place an additional attack of the announced type. Apply only the damage instead. Ignore the listed game text. Gain some extra damage. Not a bad thing. For Hekaka, Hikata, you'll eventually mess that one up. John Urbanek, who has Possessive, which means you get to keep an attachment when he goes into Kapoor. When this character is recruited, you may create a Wraith and attach it to this character. Nice, just a free Wraith right off the bat. Daniel Trulio from Mavelkian. The first time each player defeats a vampire controlled by another player during any player's turn, they gain 1 agenda. Oh, so he kind of works for everybody. But I have to defeat them during another player's turn. Interesting. Ken Michael Otto for Ventru. Kind of, there's not an equal number of cards for each different class, which I think is very interesting. They didn't force okay, we have 13 different clans. We have to have 1 for each or 2 for each. Some of these get 1, some get 2, some get none. I think everyone's represented at least once. I say that, but I don't know if I've seen Timazite, Zymice, Kaisermice. I always hate that one. I always mess that up. Alright, so Ken Michael Auto has pay 1 blood, reveal the influence modifier in your hand, then put it face down into your haven. Put 1 blood from your general supply in that card, which is now a ghoul. Turn influence modifiers into ghouls. That's pretty cool. Kirsten Monroe, Nosferatu. When this character mends, put 1 additional blood from your general supply on them. And Relentless, pay 1. If this character is in your haven, they have guard, may block this turn even if exhausted. Nice. So they get heal quicker and they have guard. For La Sombra, we have Brandon James. Hope I read that right. Attacker. This attack defeats your target character. The character may play a steam or title at no action cost. Pay 1 agenda, ready this character. They have 2 influence this turn. That's a good leader ability. Leon Eloquati for the Ministry Vampires. Attacker, pay 1 blood and discard 1 card. This attack deals aggravated damage to the target if you do not play an attack card. Interesting. Marcel Kratz, a La Sombra vampire. If this character has +1 agenda on them, they have +3 influence. Pay 1 prestige to place +1 agenda on target character. If they are controlled by your rival, you lose 1. Interesting. Why would you put agenda on another player? Because if you defeat them, you gain that agenda. So this could be a way to, like, put it on somebody and then you could defeat them, or to make them a target of other players. It's a really neat idea. For Torador, I'm not even sure how this one goes. Merchiaga? Attacker, reveal the top card of the defender's library. If it is not an attack card, +1 damage. If it is an attack card, negate the reaction, if any. We have Odulus King, Banu Hakwin Vampire. This character gains the active Haven leader ability of the foe whose leader has half or more of their blood of your color. Discard +1 card. Discard 1 card, replace 1 blood on target character, 1 supply of your own supply. Interesting. So you can keep, if you get enough blood on a certain character, on their leader, you can use their Haven's ability. Interesting. Robert Bruce for Salivray, who has Solitary. If this is the only character in your coterie, characters with blood of your color have +1 defense. During the attack of your color, have +1 defense during attack actions by your foes. Relentless, pay 1, replace 1 on target character in a defending party with 1 of your color from the general supply. Characters with blood have +1 defense during attack actions by your foe. I think it seems weirdly written, at least how I'm getting it. I think the idea is supposed to be, if you put blood on a character, during attack actions by your foe. So if they attack you, your characters all have +1 defense for their blood. It's not supposed to be. It's kind of worded a little weird. We have Savage for the Bruja. Attacker. If this attack would cause target to become wounded, exhaust the target and put a fear token on them. This attack deals +1 damage to the target if the defending player has +3 characters. Alright, dropped it down. I only got 2 more here. We have Cyrilia Rossellini for Hakata. If the first time a character plays a ritual each turn, ready them and you may add from your general supply or remove one from target character you control. Interesting, to add your blood or remove stuff. And then our last guy is Timothy Winter's La Sombra. This character has +2 influence during steams. When this card exhausts, you and target foe each draw 1 card. Nice. So you get some extra stuff there. So yeah, that is the Royalty Pack, which you can also pick up. This is a little bit more expensive, but it is, what's it, 23 brand new cards. Now, I said, I don't think there was... Yeah, there was no vampires for the Kazmais clan. Or we did have 2 Ministry. We didn't have any for the Cardiff, which is the other new one in there. Nor did we get anything for the Hunters. So that's kind of interesting that we got, again, they didn't have it even, because they did have some of these guys that had 2. So, like, they could have swapped out one of the Sombras or Ministry. We had 2 Banu Hawkwims, 2 Mavaltians, 2 Thin Bloods. So there's a couple that could have swapped out to add each of those other clans. Not really sure why they didn't, but, that's fine. Basically what this also does, besides giving you a ton of other different options, is it makes it so with all these different promos, there is no longer an equal number of vampires for each different clan. And that was the whole thing. It started out, it kind of seemed like that's what they were going to do, is if, like, one clan got an extra card, another clan would get an extra card, so they kind of keep all the even amounts. So everyone started with 7 in their pre-made deck, had 2 in the Crypt pack. Then the Heart of Europe came out and gave an extra 2 for the first 10 clans. But then now the rest of them started to fall behind. But then now this adds even more. It's going to push them newer sets even farther behind. But that's alright. It's how the game works. It'll eventually catch up. Plus, I can definitely see the core sets being ones that maybe get a couple more to an extent because you think more people would pick them up. Alright, so I am going to do a quick pause shuffling around and then we're going to take a look at the deck box. Alright, so this is the Vampire Rival official box. Now, a couple things to note in here, just by looking at this. First of all, I have foam blocks. They do not come with the box. These are from my own collection from other games. I just like them to kind of help fill in some of the spaces. Secondly, they do have a bunch of dividers that they come with. They're sorted out by the different disciplines in action, combat, ongoing, for each of the, 10 different disciplines. Goes to all of them, including Thin Blood. They do have some blank ones on here too, so you could write your own stuff. Couple of action, combat for just generic stuff. I have some of the other ones used back here to divide some of the other cards here. They also have one for influence modifiers, ongoing cards as well. And this can be combined then with the Haven Agenda and Miscellaneous from the core set. But yeah, so they do come with all of these extra dividers that you can use however you would like. And they're double-sided, so you can have them whichever direction you prefer to have your cards facing. So that is very neat there. So that way you can divide. So if I take... we'll look at that in a sec. But if I look at this, so I can have all your characters came with a regular one and then your extra card. So essentially I could make my Bruja... either I could have it sorted in 2 different ways. I could sort them out as just my Bruja cards, and then whatever else. I'm going to do is keep the pre-constructed decks on one, and then have the second one be any of the extra Crypt cards that are specifically theirs. So there are other vampires, there are other cards that only they can use. And they'll sort everything else out. But the idea is supposed to be, if I take an attack card, I can put it into one of the different disciplines. The only thing I didn't understand quite is that most of these this is from the base set, don't have a symbol dictating what the attack does. So that's what I didn't quite understand. It's actions, ongoing, and combat for each one. So if I look at some of the, this is just some of the, one of the other, this is base set too. I want to grab one of the non-base set crypt decks. Okay, so here we have a non-base set crypt. Here's an ongoing. It doesn't specify a discipline on here. This action doesn't. Now, this one does. It needs to be attached to an animalistic character. Sorry if this is kind of faded. So I could see I could put this under actions with the animalistic discipline. That would make sense because that's what those are specified towards. But not every single one does. This would go under your ongoing cards for obfuscate. But yeah, not every single card does, has those. So it's kind of interesting how they have those sorted out. So I'll have to take a little bit better look to see how you can do that and what makes the most sense. But at least it has options of extra dividers. You can do stuff. I think the idea is supposed to be that way. If you're putting your action, your ongoing, your combat card, you're trying to build your deck, you can be like, oh, I have characters with this thing, they can use this. Oh, none of my characters have animalistic traits. It doesn't make sense for me to look at that. The other thing I think becomes the issue is there are some ongoing cards that will have, that can potentially have multiple. So like this one, you put mental attack. Is the thing is, would you put it under the eye symbol or acuity or not? Because you can still play it normally. Play this card face up, attacker can't be blocked. You just gain the bonus if you have the other effect. This one, you only gain that bonus for that. So it does make sense. So some of them are a little bit interesting on where you have to decide where to put them. But I'll take a look at that. And maybe I'll do a follow-up video and figure out where I want to put all them cards. I'm not going to do it in this one. Also note, we have all currently up through, again, Hunter and Hunter, so I don't have the Ministry, the Cliff, Vampire Clans, nor do I have the Inquisitive or Faithful Hunter classes in here, or the Monster deck, or their new City deck, their new Crypt cards. But if you look at this, I can probably have enough room to put the other two Vampires in here. I can start the Hunters on the next side. If I have another Crypt deck, I can put that in there. I have my two Cities here. I can probably fit another City deck in here. But it's just filling up pretty quickly. So yeah, this will probably fit, again, a decent, if you fit two more here, a couple more decks over there, fit that stuff in there. You're probably going to be able to get another, probably 3 or 4 boxes in there at least. Because if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4. This stack from here on, Ganger on, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different ones. That is your 5 different expansions. So essentially, I could probably assume 2 more clans here. 2 more hunters. Their other stuff takes up the same room. You could probably figure about another 5, roughly-ish 5 expansions in here. I would say easily. Now, again, this is them not being sleeved. If you sleeve your cards, if you sleeve your cards, it is going to take up more room. They're just more thicker. So I have just a sampling of a more generic sleeve card. I just want to kind of show what that's going to look like. Just sometimes it's nice to know. So again, this isn't like a Dragon Shield or one of the more expensive ones. This is more of a generic, but it's not a penny sleeve. I've started personally going away from that. But now, here's my issue, right? That fits in there, but that fits in pretty darn tight. I put it on this side, it fits fine. Put it on this side, it fits fine. So it just might be like the center's just a little loose. Maybe you just have to loosen it up a bit. I I don't think it's like gonna damage the card or anything, but that's something to keep in mind. You know, because your two sides have a little bit of leeway, the middle is a little bit tight. But yeah, if you all of a sudden start sleeving all your cards, which I will eventually do, whether you use regular or that, but the higher grade you use, they are all a little bit thicker as well. So every time you buy a higher grade, you're going to have a little bit thicker cards, and they're going to take up more room. So then instead of getting 5 sets after you sleeve all this, you might only be able to fit 3 in here. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's what we have right now. I just have all of my... Right now, all my crypt in here, and again, at bare minimum, I'm going to at least separate the extras into there. So I'll end up not having... What I might do is keep the decks on one side, the extras, like maybe created decks in here, the extras over here. Just in that way, I can just grab a deck, and I don't have to keep pulling out and dealing with the extras. And you can just go over the other if you want to switch stuff around. This would, as long as we're talking about this with extra cards, this would definitely be one of these games, if you play a lot with a lot of different people, it might be potential to have a second set of every set of cards. Now, again, you're not going to necessarily be able to use all the vampires. You know, you can, because one player can play with one, you can mix and match and do stuff there. But having, you know, 6 versions of every card means that 2 people can make a deck and use 3 of each of the cards. So if I was playing with, you know, another member of my family, and I wanted to build, like, hey, we wanted to be able to build a bunch of decks, it might be beneficial to buy a second copy of every set, so that way we can each build using each different cards. Because like Gangrel and Nosferatu both use animal cards. It would be nice to not have it just be oh, I have the rats, you have, and I have the rats in a swarm, but Gangrel might be like, I wouldn't mind using them, so now you have to start debating. So it's great for one player to be able to do it, or if you just play with pre-constructed decks, it's perfectly fine. But if you want to start mixing and matching and creating your own decks, having a second set might not be a terrible idea. But that's also something to then consider if you have a second full deck set of these cards. You may end up wanting to have a second box. Maybe one box be your 2 different versions of your constructed decks, your city decks, stuff like that. And then like the second deck just be all your alternate cards. I do it. I haven't done this with this game yet, but I have been doing this with Marvel Champions, because it has a very similar idea to having the extra cards. Every character generally comes with 3 sets of brand new cards. And then they get, at the end of their decks, they usually have bonus cards that they can use to help mix and match and make new decks, and they get 3 copies. And the idea is you can then rotate and mix your pre-constructed decks, or you can make new decks out of them. And I've been buying a duplicate of every set, so I have enough to keep my regular decks built, and then I can go ahead and build a second deck, is what I'm doing. So I don't have to dismantle my pre-constructed decks all the time. I could potentially see doing that with this too, but I basically already need a second box. And at that point, for me personally, I would have to debate whether I buy another one of these, which were about $20, $25, or if I buy a regular box of cards, which are usually a little bit longer, but I can stand them all up and they'll sleeve. I just have to make brand new dividers. But that's not something I'm against. I make a lot of dividers. Alright, so that's what we have for Vampire Rivals, the box, the promos. If for some reason you haven't checked out all the rest of the videos, definitely check those out. Keep an eye out for new expansions, the new core set. I will be getting that Hunters. Sounds really interesting. Has some pretty interesting new mechanics as well. And if you like various card games, check out other stuff from Renegade Studios. They have a lot of other cool stuff, a lot of RPGs for vampires, but then they're also making those for their other main attractions. So you can get card games, miniature games, and RPGs for Power Rangers, Transformers, G.I. Joes, My Little Pony. They have a cool Scott Pilgrim game. You can check out my video for that too. That's all I have for this. See you guys later. Bye. In my hustle and bustle of talking about all the cards, I completely forgot about tokens. So this game has a lot of different tokens in it, which obviously then that means in your box, if you put them in all the little baggies or little things, that's going to take up even more room in your deck or in your box, which means less stuff. What I do is I buy these containers. I get these at Hobby Lobby myself, and they come in various sizes. So you can get this double-decker one. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen me use these before. You can get like a single long one, which has a couple different ones. You can get big flat ones. So like here's an example of one of the big flat ones. It's just a lot bigger, has a bunch of different size trays in it. I usually buy several of these and I can mix and match the little tubs in there. But what I really love about this is, so what I have are all my tokens are sorted out. So if I'm playing this, I can pull out whatever I need. I need my agendas, I can pull them out. I need fear tokens, pull them out. No one's using fear tokens, I can leave them in there. Nobody's using wraiths, I can leave them in there. I have 4 players, I can pull out my red, blue, orange, and black, or I can pull out my gray. I have the 4 colors for the new prestige blood tokens. Just kind of needs, you know, again, this amount does not come in here. You get 6 pink, you get like a purple, a green, and a big blue one. So you get, yeah, I've had to buy several different ones and mix and match these, but I have enough different games that I can afford to do that. I can mix them and match them that way. But then this makes it really neat for this type of game just to pull these out. Yes, I know this means I have a second box I have to carry around, but I think this is a better idea than having all my stuff in little baggies or taking up half of my box. I like this tray as well because it has this little top tray on there, which I can also use. So in here I put basically my starter stuff. So like this is stuff you're going to have to use every game. Your influence tokens, your first player, and your rival tokens. And I can just add them in there. I have a slot for extra stuff if I get it. The small expansion instruction books all sitting here. There's enough of a little gap in here that I can put all of them. And this is everything up through Europe in here. So if I need to grab these instructions, they're right there. The regular rule book, I will have to probably throw in here on top. Ooh, that's not even going to fit in there. It will, just barely, but it'll kind of sit on top. So hopefully I don't get too many big books. But again, I think once I get the new set, I can just replace the old one. Now, again, I could always replace this with the big, longer one. Or I could use some of the other larger slots if I get more tokens and stuff like that. I could do some different things. I could drop the Wraith tokens up in one of these if I need to. Just gives me some different options. But yeah, I really like these. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. It's $9. It's not much. It's not too much bigger than the case. But yeah, it does give me a second box I have to use. But then my tokens are all nice where I can just pull them out, use them, have them where I need them to be. You have your general supply prestige tokens. You can just, hey, drop your color back in your box. You don't have to sort through a pile or dig through big giant, dump them on the table or have to try and find new containers. So they're really nice that way. All right, so that's what I have for that. Hop back in. So yeah, we have, again, check out Vampires The Masquerade Rivals. See you guys later. Bye.